Good afternoon. Welcome back to our series. Tina tapped into the S5. I'm coming off 2 weeks break, so I've got a lot of energy. I'm very excited. And I'm actually really excited about this week's session around Pitch Perfect, specifically for education. Something that I have learnt and loved over the last 5 years of working here at CommBox is demoing to our education vertical. I find it the most fun. Teachers, they're people too, so having a bit of a joke with them when you're standing up in front of them and being able to show a brand new piece of technology. So not only am I standing up in front of teachers who are renowned for hating a student like myself, not only that, but also teachers who are generally pretty adverse to new technology. And come in with a preconceived notion of what they're about to be sold, or what maybe they've already purchased and they're now about to be taught or shown on interactive screens. I think what I've also loved about the education space is I've been fighting this idea, or negative idea, I guess I should say, around interactive flat panel displays. A lot of the schools or teachers who are seen as early adopters of this kind of technology in the classroom environment all have a really bad taste in their mouth. Just like eating 360-day aged Wagyu, worse than blue cheese. It has really left a very bad taste in their mouth, and here I am trying to stand up in front of them and show them how the new interactive screens are much better, can support them, more engaging, but as all of us do, I'm quite a stubborn person. I can create this idea of something in my own head, and when somebody tries to sell me or tell me something else, it can be a little bit tricky to let go of those experiences that you've already had and try and open your mind to something new. But as a salesperson, I've been really intrigued around understanding the room, reading people, and then finding a way to get into them, to get them to pull down their walls so that they actually stop to listen to what we have to say. So today I'm going to be focusing on what we speak about when we talk to our education vertical. What are 2 or 3 key things that allow us first in the door? Then what do we do when we arrive on site with our screen to be able to show the demo? But what I want you guys to write into, we have a Q&A section in this webinar. What I would like you to write, because you are the people who are often fighting off and getting your foot in the door to allow us to come in and help sell the product. But what I would like to hear from you are, what are the objections that you've had? And I think in the last 5 minutes of this webinar today, we can look at some objection handling and I guess test myself a bit on the fly as to how I might handle what some of those objections are. I can anticipate price being an objection that somebody's going to write into the Q&A section. Something else around price. Maybe another one around price. But let's get creative. If you guys have any other ideas or have been faced with any other objections, I will address the pricing objection we often see. But yeah, if you have any other ones, chuck it in the chat. Any other questions you have as we go through today, put that in the chat as well, and I will answer those at the end of the session today. Okay, let's get started with foot in the door. A lot of our resellers actually are already servicing a bunch of customers, whether that is you're in there doing their print, or you're speaking with the customer already because you already deliver them their pens and papers or their textbooks, their infrastructure, networking, cabling, all the way down to even build or design. You're already in there with that school, and I can guarantee you now they're buying IFPD, but highly likely it's not from you if you're not invoicing it. So what I wanted to start with was, even if you're not comfortable with the technology just yet, that's okay. What I don't want is for you to spend 6 hours with us understanding who we are and what we do. It's one of the reasons for our short 20-minute webinars that 20 to 30-minute webinars we've been doing. But the best way to learn is on the job, right? So getting your foot in the door, bringing a CommBox representative in behind you, and you just sit in and listen and absorb. Once you do that 2 to 3, 4 more times, you'll become more comfortable to be able to drive that yourself. So I think in terms of foot in the door, the best way to start is just to ask the questions. You might already be in the classroom looking at the next, and while I work in AV, my knowledge maybe of networking is not as high as most of you guys on the call. But if you're in there putting in new routers, wireless access points, and you see a screen, whether you see a CommBox or any other screen, you can ask that question. Oh, CommBox, I can provide you with your CommBox as well. And I see here so many resellers starting with that. And being able to have the opportunity to quote just from their one comment of, I saw CommBox in your classroom. Do you know that I also can provide you with your CommBox? Or I saw insert other brand in your classroom. That model's looking quite old. When did you purchase those? Have you seen what the latest technology is out there? We have access to some awesome interactive screens for you. When's that warranty period coming up? Is that something that you're interested in looking in? It's actually the same thing, and I know this is a bit off topic, but it's the same thing with LED. LED is this beast, and what CommBox is bringing to market is for you guys to be able to access selling LED as well. It's the same questions. When you're walking into the school, most schools now have that little A-frame on the side at the front of the school with one LED panel. If you notice that it's not working or something like that, don't be afraid to just ask a question. Hey, that LED at the front, I can see it's not working. Did no one update it today? Oh, no, actually, it hasn't been working for 2 weeks. Cool. Well, I have the solution for you. Allow me to bring in our subject matter expert. And in walks in a CommBox person, quote it all up for you, be able to deliver that back to you. Same thing with interactive screens. I know there are a lot of interactive screens out on the market, and we've already done a few sessions as to why CommBox, what's different about CommBox, what's different about the S5. We've got our webinar. So go back and have a look at that if this is your first session that you're joining. But having that knowledge just allows you to latch onto, and there's a course, I'll see if I can find it, just around communication. When you first meet with somebody, hi, my name's Tina, what's your name? My name's Ben. Okay, I don't know where to take the conversation from here. It's about giving, and I forget the language that they use, but I think of it as like spaghetti noodles that are falling down. Give 3 or 4 different spaghetti things for somebody else to catch on to. Hi, my name's Tina. What's your name? My name's Ben. Hey, Ben. How are you today? Oh, I'm really good, thank you. I had a really busy day today, actually. I had quite a few meetings, and then, I had to take my dog to the groomer, and, I'm feeling like the market is being really busy right now. You've just given me more things to latch onto. Oh, yeah, it's really busy at the moment. What kind of dog do you have? Because I have 3 dogs. Allowing that conversation to move on. It's the same technique we use when we're talking to our end users, right? Don't just answer with an answer. Give them a little bit more, and I love spaghetti bolognese. It was my birthday yesterday, and my choice of dinner was homemade spaghetti bolognese. It's the best thing ever. But giving that to every single conversation that you have, and out of those little bits of spaghetti that you drop in your conversation, one of them will relate, and that person that you're speaking to will grab onto, and your relationship will continue to unravel. I don't know the movie because I don't watch a lot, but I think it's like Lady and the Tramp, right? With the spaghetti, and they all meet together, and a purchase order lands, and, fireworks go off. That's what we're aiming for here. So, foot in the door. Notice what's going on around you. Is there a CommBox already in there? Is that old because it doesn't look anything like the screen that we're talking about today? Is it a different brand and it also looks a little bit old? Or you're hearing teachers say that they're a little bit frustrated, or they're upgrading their infrastructure. Do they also want to upgrade the technology that they're using? Just little drops in there to let them know. Hey, you might not be ready. This is also not about making the sale now, but also building out your pipeline, right? You might not need it now, but it's coming up end of warranty in the next year. Let's actually start the process of looking at what's available to you. We know the purchasing behavior or the decision making can take quite a long time. Budgets are now being built for next year. So don't be afraid also to go, are you ready to start this process for me now? I can introduce you to the right people. We can start to get that budget allocated for you to upgrade X amount of screens next year. I haven't seen a full whole site upgrade for 2 years now. We're definitely in that phase of stage by stage, classrooms by classrooms, whatever budget is allowing, whether that's 20 classrooms or 5. But let's really start to forecast, and your forecast then helps me to make sure that I've got all the product that I need in the country for you, to be able to fulfill for you as well. Foot in the door, foot in the door. CommBox will come behind you and help you close that opportunity. We will do demos, we will sell ourselves, we will show them the features. How do we do that? Again, spaghetti, asking questions. What are their current frustrations? What are they looking for? What tech stack are they using? Are they a Microsoft house? Are they a Google? Or is it BYO? Understanding, and while it might seem, especially if you guys first come to an opportunity with us, and our response will naturally be, give us more information of that customer. Let's move down the, comparing it to dating. You're going for your second date. You can't bring flowers unless you know that they're not allergic to flowers from the first date, and you ask that question. The more questions you ask, the better you can fit that profile of that customer so that we can walk in and deliver. I love doing demos for our resellers, but I will not stand up in front of a customer until I have a full profile of them. I know who the decision makers are. I know what they're looking for. I know what they currently have. I know what their budget might be. I know what student laptops they're using. I know what teacher laptops and how they're using them. I know that they're a Microsoft house. I know that their next 3-year digital infrastructure contains X, Y, and Z. While that might seem a bit of an overkill for the front of screen technology, it is so important. If you don't ask these questions now, we will install these amazing new screens, and if the infrastructure is not able to support it, they will have a horrible experience. So don't get me wrong, the questions might seem irrelevant, or it might go, oh, there's more things I need to go back and ask. It is going to ensure that when we go to deliver with my customer success hat on, everyone is going to be successful every step of the way. Foot in the door, qualifying questions. Qualifying questions are not just how much, when, where, how we're going to deliver it. It's a lot more than that. Our screens play with everything else in the classroom or everything else in the hall environment. I need to know are they going in via Ethernet? I need to know whether they're a Microsoft house. I need to know whether they use Vivi or they're using CommBox Connect, because it also means that it reduces the time when I stand up in front of them. I don't want to go down and spend 3 minutes looking at CommBox Connect for someone to go, oh, no, we use Vivi. Don't want to waste their time, don't want to be seen as wasting their time as well. If we take a big step back and look at how we pitch when we walk into the room. Qualifying questions done, foot in the door, I've invited my CommBox rep. Maybe I know the S5 well enough, I've got my own in my showroom, the school's coming in as opposed to us coming out. And I'm ready to pitch it myself. Some key things that I love to get started with. Also depends who you're talking to. Am I talking to the principal? Am I talking to the director of IT? Or am I talking to the director of learning, right? They're 3 different hats. Often I love when they're all at the table, because then you can, as you're answering questions, you can answer all of them, because all of them are generally a key decision maker. But whoever you're talking to, you need to know, deeply understand what they do, what role they have within that organization, and then be able to pitch significantly to them. So, for example, if I'm talking to a principal, what am I going to be focusing on? The cost that it saves in the long-term running. The productivity we should see increase for a teacher. The collaboration we should now also see increase within the classroom. Ultimately resulting in higher results in our exams, in our tests that occur. That's what I'm going to be focusing on when I speak to a principal. Also good to understand how that principal worked their way to. Do they come from an IT background? Therefore, something like manage might also really resonate with them. That's a principal. We move to a director of learning. Okay, what are you using? How are you using it? Do you want your teachers to plug in? Part of your syllabus, what are you focusing on? What are you changing? What are you turning digital? How do we support them into making that happen? And supporting the teachers in being able to do that as well. But understanding where they're driving the school for the next 2 to 3 years, and then coming alongside that and say how CommBox can support them in every step of the way. Ultimately, the IT manager. We had a session last week where Ellie, who's our product manager, ran that one for us. We'll be running another one again, talking again about IT managers because they are a key decision maker for us and customer that we serve. But how do we address their needs and requirements or concerns? CommBox Manage, our remote MDM, how powerful that is. How they can push firmware updates, how they can lock it right down all the way through to each and every input. So many schools where I go, teachers are still using HDMI, I only want them using USB-C. And you can go, well, it charges as well. Why wouldn't they be using it? Well, it's just out of habit. So let's lock down the USB port. Let's lock down, the HDMI port and the USB touch port. The only option they have to be able to get their screen onto the CommBox is going to be via USB-C only. We give that ultimate control back to the IT manager. Showing them very, very simple little things will give them that big tick. We know that we can do the rest. So again, asking them very strategic questions as to what their issues and problems might be, address that 5%, and just trust that CommBox will tick the other 95% that they need as well. Something that covers them all, because it's definitely a topic that's coming up in every single teaching piece this year, is going to be cybersecurity. I don't even really bring that up anymore because I know we tick every single box. We have a 130-page document that talks about the cybersecurity of CommBox as an organization and the screen on its own. It will tick the box. We are the most secure screen on the market. I just say that, send the paperwork, they can search, they can run their own testing, just know that that's not an issue at all. So, the perfect pitch, the S5 screen designed for education. I'm saying that now. When you see me again next week, I will say the CommBox S5 screen designed for business, because you have ultimate control of how you set the screen up and then how you use that screen. There are so many presets and functions that we have. I just have Matt calling me on Teams. That tells me that he's not in this call. I'll have a chat about that. So S5 screen, highly customizable, can be designed and configured to be used in the education environment. Education from kindy all the way through to year 12. Whether you're teaching English, math, home studies, whatever that is, it can be set up, designed for that particular subject, for that particular curriculum, for the particular end user that is using it. Right down to the teacher. Fully customizable, links with your Microsoft Teams links with your Microsoft Teams account or your Google account to really free up your laptop. More time spent on collaboration, more time spent on one-on-one learning or group-based activities. Really designed to give the teacher the time back that they need. We know that they're already stuck with time. Again, coming back to bringing down their walls when you're in front of them. Something I very much often say as soon as I get up in front of a group of teachers. My most recent one was 100 teachers at a school that the IT manager decided that instead of making the decision and feeling the pressure of the teachers, that he would bring the teachers along to help make the decision and vote for the screen that they wanted the most. Stood up in front of 102 teachers and I said, I'm absolutely being punished for being one of the worst students at school. My job now is here to support you. My full-time role that I do, when I wake up in the morning, the First thing I look at is my calendar and I think, cool, thanks for coming back into this situation and having to support the teachers where maybe I was the one that was causing most of the distraction and issues as a young student. But teachers love hearing all these jokes, humor, see them as another person as opposed to somebody who is instructing. Ben, do we have any objections that have come up?
Questions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Being time poor around learning and using new tech, can you talk to that?
Yeah, absolutely. That is a great one. One that I get a lot too is around tech savvy. Time poor, they're not tech savvy, so they're not going to be able to use it as they go. Our screen here has a help button on the screen. Not only on the screen, but you can access this on your laptop as well. The other thing is we give training. So we have training that we can record on our MTR just like this, and you can upload to your intranet. But all these training videos are bite-sized pieces. The longest one here goes for IT manager, 2 minutes. Yeah, screen sharing, 2 minutes and 26 seconds. This video teaches you how to share your personal laptop up into the CommBox. So they're designed to be bite-sized, small videos to equip the teacher to be able to know how to use the equipment. So these are available on YouTube, available on the screen, and then we also run a teaching or a training session once they onboard and use the screen. The other benefit or good comeback for that is the way we set up the screen with the IT manager can be designed to only deliver them features in bite-sized pieces. So we can strip all the other stuff out. If the most important thing to get started with, which is in most cases, 99.9% is screen sharing, let's get rid of everything else. And for the first 2 weeks, let's only have the CommBox Connect app on the screen. And then in phase 2, let's sit down and start to look at, okay, now they're asking for annotation. Or you can even put a poll out. What do you guys want to see next as teachers? And deliver it back in bite-sized pieces. So while I understand in the screen, while it has ultimate control, can also the other way think, wow, that's a lot of options. We can bring that right back and scale with the school as they want to onboard. Any other objections that came up?
Worries about security of the screen in the classroom?
Security in the okay, I can answer this 2 ways. First being the physical security of the screen. Our screens have Gorilla Glass on top. They are in defense sites. They are also in correctional facilities. They're in mental health institutes. So the physical safety of the screen, there is no issue. In terms of cyber, I touched on that. But as soon as you install the screen and you turn on CommBox EXP and move into CommBox mode, it is the most cyber secure screen on the market, as well as giving the IT manager ultimate control in terms of inputs and so on. If you don't want any of the front inputs being used, therefore no student be able to come up and plug anything in, you can disable them all. So we really have taken that second to see what goes on in the classroom and be able to future-proof and edit that as well, including settings on the screen. You can't get into settings without a PIN. You can't get into the input settings either without a PIN. You can't change the input without a PIN. We have really thought about how the screen's used in the environment that it's going into, but good question.
One more, poor performance of wireless casting.
Yeah, so a lot of wireless casting, Miracast is peer-to-peer, but I also look after our support desk, so I have a look at the tickets that come through, and a lot of them is about casting. A lot of it can come down to network. So when I go back to our pre-qualifying questions, that's why we ask quite specifically around the infrastructure and the environment. Because the last thing we want is you can come into my environment, I can show you casting and broadcasting working phenomenally, very quick, very responsive. But as soon as we move that into a particular customer's environment, we want to be able to replicate that, and sometimes it doesn't happen. And often, you know, the closest access point could be, 50 meters away with concrete walls. But really asking those pre-qualifying questions enable us to be successful in making sure that that doesn't happen. with the casting of the screen using CommBox Connect in particular, we're consistently shipping improvements. So like I mentioned at the start of this, I was on leave for 2 weeks. When I came back, I had 2 updates to CommBox Connect. We're consistently trying to make sure that we're using the best control on the receiving laptop, so on the laptop, my personal laptop, as well as the screen. Just making sure we're updating them. The team are pushing the best they can as soon as quickly as they can to try and give our end users the best possible casting experience that they can. Cool. Awesome. That is a wrap for today, specifically around education. The more questions you ask, the better answers we can deliver. The more questions you ask, the better answers we can deliver, and the most customized presentation we can deliver back to them. While schools are very similar in terms of copy and paste, the decision makers, the infrastructure, what they're using internally can significantly change. So it's really important that we ask those pre-qualifying questions, and you really rely on our account management team to help carry the opportunity the rest of the way. Next week, we're back with tips specifically more around our business customers, a whole different ball game. And don't forget to have a look on LinkedIn this afternoon around our S5 giveaway. Thanks so much for your time today, guys. I can answer any other questions that we didn't get to today somewhere else. That will come back to you, probably by email. See you guys next week. Bye.